recording
We are
it.
live.
Hello, people. It's been just a quick moment since we were last here. I love our sporadic chats. We try to be diligent about weekly, but you know what? Life just lifes, and sometimes it's hard to wrangle the time, but I'm glad we can all be together today and do a little life update. I feel like I haven't heard the full latest on Sarah's wedding planning in a moment, so you know where you are. This is Yappily Ever After. I'm Hannah Roze, the founder and CEO of Plannerd.
And I'm Sarah Peterson, the head of marketing for Plannerd. Yay!
Okay. Please give me the latest where the calendar just seems to be flipping on by, and I feel like the wedding is like moments away.
Tomorrow?
I don't
Yeah,
wanna,
you and I.
yeah, I don't want to rush the summer to go by, but I'm like very excited.
I'm very excited as well, but also I feel like, and tell me if this is true for like your own wedding, we went from having like 7 months is like so long. And then the second we were on the other side of 6 months, I was like, oh my God, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
now that's the phase that we're in. I'm like, we are technically, okay, it's April, May, June, July, August. That's literally just 4 months.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like that was exactly what happened, especially because those last months, there's like both a lot to do and nothing to do because you've already executed all of the planning stuff that you
Yes.
needed to do, but then there's like little tie-up details that are still pretty important and you feel like you should be busy doing something.
And you just think of like random things. Like I literally this morning was like, I was showering and I was like, I haven't thought about jewelry. Like weird small things that I'm like, no one's gonna tell you that, you know? It's just like, I'm like, when am I supposed to order like jewelry? What am I wearing jewelry wise? I'm like, what matches my dress? I'm like, I've done no research on this. Like, I don't know anything. It's like that kind of stuff. But like the major stuff is locked in. I'm like, all the rentals are done and like that stuff's good. Now it's just like these tedious little things, or someone will be like, when are you doing like the Bachelorette? It took me forever to get the Bachelorette planned. That's now finally planned. But for a while I was like, I don't even know. I don't have time. Also, I feel like this is the phase where you hit the like decision fatigue hard.
Yeah. Are
6
you
months.
gonna reveal where your bachelorette location is?
Absolutely. Yes, it's in Palm Springs because I just feel like Palm Springs is so easy. For me personally, like we go annually. I love Palm Springs. You know it's going to be warm. I love grandma hobbies, and that's Palm Springs. So, like for me, it's
Are you a
perfect.
golfer? Are you a golfer?
I'm a yes. Oh yeah, state championship golfer and into needlepoint. Like any grandma hobby, that's my thing. And so that's where I wanted to do it. Everyone's like, do you want to do like Nashville or like, something fun? I was like, no, I want to sit by a pool. I'm not even making it super long. Like we're literally getting there like Friday night. We're leaving Sunday. Like it's very short, sweet. Everybody can get a little base tan and then like, that's it.
Yeah.
I also feel like I waited really long. At what month before your wedding did you do a bachelorette?
So I never got to do a bachelorette party because not only
COVID?
not only did I not do one for myself, I've never actually been to one of anyone. Like, I know, I feel like you have been to 1,000 million, and just because we were some of the first people in our friend group to get married, and it was during COVID, so we were just like excited that the event could even go on at all.
Yeah.
And then after we were married, since I went to college on the East Coast, my friends are all over the country, and so some of them have had bachelorettes and I just wasn't able to go for one reason or another. I was in grad school and then like timing was weird, so yeah, I haven't had
Oh my God.
any
What a fun fact.
I know, it's like a gaping hole in my wedding experience.
I feel like, well, now you need to come to the bachelorette. You have to come to the bachelorette.
This is not me inviting myself.
No, but I'm inviting you because you need to experience a bachelorette. It's for work purposes.
Yes, it's a work trip. It can be expensive.
It's a work trip. It's a write-off. It's a work trip.
I'll contact Stephanie, my accountant, and just make sure.
Just be like, this is a write-off, right? It's a bachelorette party. Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Nice.
Very chill, very low-key. We really don't have a ton booked. I found an unbelievable house. Like, the house is unreal. It has a beach volleyball court, a pickleball court, a pool with a grotto and a slide. Like, I went crazy on the outside because I was like, inside, like, that's great. There's just like ton of king beds, white bedding, very boring. But I was like, if you're going to Palm Springs, like, you're gonna be outside anyways.
Hi, jumping in here very quickly to thank you for being here and ask if you will hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and tell the algorithm gods that you love what you're hearing so we can keep putting out great free content for you. Okay, back to the episode.
So we went crazy on the outside, and the house is just like so insane that we were like, okay, one night we definitely want to do like a private chef or someone who can like come and like just do everything there. And I think Friday night when we get there, we'll just like go downtown and see what trouble we get into. And then that's pretty much it. That's like all I mapped out. I have two co-maids of honors who are my like two childhood best friends. And so I know they're scheming up some stuff, but I don't know what it is.
Perfect. You know, I saw someone do a chef at their house. They did it hibachi style, where they do like full setup and they flip things around and make the little onion tower. That could be a fun like spin on a little.
That's like a huge. I keep getting ads for that now. Like, everyone is doing that. My younger sister went to school in Alabama, so she weirdly, all of her friends like got married at like 22 because that's what you do in the South. And she was like, what are you gonna do, like a hibachi chef? And I was like, is this a thing? Like, I'm like trying to find the balance between, I'm like, is this like such a thing that it's like not cool? And she's like, I mean, everybody does it. I'm like, I just learned this.
Why did I think this was like new and cool?
No, same. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a hibachi chef. And she was like, of course you are. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, this is so overdone that you're eye rolling?
Are you throwing shade on my hibachi?
Throwing shade on the hibachi chef.
That's rude.
So yeah, we locked in the Bachelorette literally yesterday. Like, I don't even know if the email has been sent out yet. I just like finalized the house and everything. I just like booked it and then sent it to Maid of Honors, and that's as far as we've gotten.
I was fully sat watching this like multi-minute long TikTok about this girl describing the drama with her maid of honor. I don't know if you've been served this TikTok.
No, but I hope I do now.
I'll send you a link. It was like she told the whole story of how their friendship, they were childhood best friends, and then all this drama came in the mix, and it was like there were billions of comments, people saying, me too, that happened to me too. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so dramatic. Yeah, I feel like it's interesting. I'm glad that your experience with all of your helper support people have seemed very genuine and people are excited to be helping. And maybe that's a facet of getting married like at the age that we are rather than like 25. Yeah. But I'm glad that people are like helping and excited and engaged in the whole process with you. So I'm glad to hear that.
Especially because I was so overwhelmed. Like, when we had the initial conversation about it like 2 months ago, I was not in the headspace. I was like, I am so overwhelmed with wedding decisions. Like, the last thing I can do is plan another event.
Yes, a totally separate but related different event.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I've like, my head is barely above water with all the wedding decisions. I'm like, the last thing I can think about is like, what city do we want to fly to? And woo! And like, no, I was not into it until we got down to like the wire. Apparently, I'm doing it like way late. Like, I guess people do it like 6 months before the wedding. I'm like, okay, but traditionally, wasn't it the night before?
That seems wild to me. And I feel like that was the story that was in my brain as a
kid.
As a kid was like, it's the night before you go crazy. But that logistically doesn't really make much sense, because why would you want to go crazy the night before? Yeah, seems cool. If you have, and then hear from people, if you have done it the night before, like, why did you do that? And did it go?
Why would you do that? How
did you decide? I know Palm Springs, obviously, like, it's close, but there was one time we went to Austin and we were out on 6th Street with all the clubs and stuff, and I think we counted like a dozen bachelorette parties. Were you in the headspace of like, during this, I don't want to see a single other bachelorette. I want to go and be on our own, or do you care about running into other groups, or where's your mind at?
I think what's crazy is when I initially picked Palm Springs, I picked it just because to me it's like a very convenient, it's an easy, like if you want to drive, it's like 6 hours from here. And so like I use it as like my own vacation stuff usually. I didn't realize that it's becoming kind of like a bachelorette hub until we started like booking stuff and they were like, oh, it's for a bachelorette party. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, is everyone doing their bachelorette parties in Palm Springs? And I get it, it's a convenient location. I was trying to avoid that, but unfortunately, I don't think I did. I think there's a new wave of people doing it in Palm Springs. I was really anti like Austin, Nashville. I feel like those ones are like the capitals for bachelorette parties. Like, you know, there's like bus companies specific to bachelorette parties. Like, I'm like, if you are that lucrative that you're starting a business for bachelorette parties specifically, like, you know, you're in the capital. So I thought I was doing it for like grandma hobbies. Mm-hmm. And then instead, I guess everybody's into grandma hobbies now. I don't know.
Well, crocheting is definitely having a moment. I don't know.
Crocheting's having a moment. Needlepoint's having a moment. I'm like, I'm currently making needlepoint kits for everybody.
Wow, she's going above and beyond. Everyone better be grateful for this.
I'm trying to get everybody hooked on my grandma hobbies. I'm like, they don't realize this is actually more of like a cult experience. I'm gonna get everyone into my hobbies. But yeah, I think that's the main wedding update. The only other wedding update currently is I am struggling with beauty things in Montana, which we've kind of talked about, which is like, I'm realizing that like I'm going to be there 2 weeks before my wedding. So I'm like, okay, getting nails done, spray tans, like all of the like prepping things visually, I don't love doing in the middle of nowhere. So that's been a challenge.
Places that you just haven't been able to test out and make sure they're exactly what you want. I'm so curious. I'm sure other people have dealt with this. So if you're listening and you know someone or you did yourself, like, I really want to know how you dealt with this, but it's like actually quite a conundrum.
It's a big conundrum. And like, I'm now to the point where like, I'm scrolling through like my wedding planner's page of brides and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like hair, makeup. I'm looking for nails. I'm like, press-ons. Yeah. I'm like, did she do press-ons? How'd she get a spray tan in the middle of nowhere? Like, because it is really rural. Obviously Whitefish as a whole is kind of booming. It's having the Austin effect right now. But does that mean that I trust the spray tan, 18-year-old spray tan girl down the street? No, not really. No.
The spray tan, especially of all the different amenities, like the different services of nails and makeup, and the spray tan especially, like
that's a tough one.
That is a very tough.
Yeah. And so I'm really trying to avoid that, but also I'm stuck with the fact that Trevor is one of those horrible people who is tan year round. Like literally it takes like nothing for him to get tan. He just walks outside and he's like glowing. And I'm like, okay, I'm Irish as hell. Like I can't tan like that. So I have to like build up to it. And I know that he's just going to be like, hot and tan from the jump and he's not going to have to worry about this.
Are you
That's
like
the hard part.
Tan girly? Like you do that on a regular basis, so you know what you like and you know how it affects you. And
yes, I know what I like, and I've got my people here, but Montana people no, and everybody that I've found in Montana is like the like hand done. I'm a Versa Spa girly. I can boom, 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 done. I know which level to get. Like I don't look orange. But I feel like everybody up there is like, I don't know, starting LLCs for like mobile spray tan booths. I'm like, I don't trust that for a second. So I went the opposite route and am bed tanning, which is a hot, controversial topic that everybody hates. And I promise it's only for the wedding. Like once we're done with the wedding, I will stop. But I refuse to be orange or translucent on my wedding day. And so this was the most like normal way to do that. I will say, being in my 30s now, because I was a bit of a bed tanner in college.
She
And
dabbled a little bit.
she dabbled in that. Also was obsessed with Jersey Shore. Like the GTL lifestyle was like my whole thing. And so now I'm doing it a little differently. We're doing like insane SPF on the face, towel over the face. Like the face will not deal with the tanning beds, which is nice, but I will say I'm starting to see a little color, and that's kind of fun. So
Seeing some results. I'm really liking what I see.
I'm really like what I see, but would not advise bed tanning. Don't do it.
You know how eyebrow blindness was a thing for a while? People would say, like, I totally had eyebrow blindness. I think I had, like, not spray tan blindness, but, like, the
I
need
did.
to have tanned blindness, where I
Yes.
look back at my own wedding photos. I'm like, she could have used, like, a little bit of color, maybe. Like, a little bit of a little something. I was so paranoid because my only tanning experience was in college one time, and I did the, like, spray thing, and
Yup.
I didn't know, they told me nothing, and so I didn't know you're supposed to wipe down your face or like
Oh my
do something
God.
with your face. It was almost cultural appropriation, going towards a bad place where I was like, why does it look like I've been vacationing in Jamaica for like 6 months? Like never again.
So you didn't do anything for your wedding. Were you just normal?
Nope, she did nothing, nothing at all.
See, and half of
And
me is
you
like, just be
can
normal. You're
tell.
like the same color, same shade as the dress.
Yes, it's just like one block of column white. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to look into that, for maybe for your wedding. I'll do a little
Do
something.
it. Wouldn't recommend doing it in Montana, but Seattle, I trust Seattle. Seattle, I trust.
Yeah, I mean,
Any major city. I'm really hoping my soon-to-be father-in-law is not listening to this because he is a dermatologist, and this goes against
sorry.
everything. So sorry, Scott. I swear I'll stop after August once I have gorgeous wedding photos. So yeah, that's all. That's all the wedding updates I have. What's new? What's new on the planner front or the
Oh,
Hannah front?
let's see. Well, I have 5 weddings on the calendar coming up, and I've been
Easy.
searching around for outfits and dresses, and I'm really curious where people are getting their outfits from these days, because I've really enjoyed doing Rent the Runway, and this is not a sponsored plug or anything. I just like doing it because you can get something cool that you never would have been able to get otherwise. You don't have to like keep accumulating
Yeah.
dresses, so that's kind of fun. I don't know, I have so many on the calendar, but they're all in very different places. Yours is in Montana, and then I have Wyoming, Miami, New York, New York.
You know
So
what's crazy is you're hitting like the best wedding spots in the country right now.
yeah, I know. I was like, this is a pretty good sampling, actually.
It's a great, yeah, it's unbelievable.
We'll see what I get up to with those 5. I'll try to do a little documenting while we're there. Should be fun. My cousin is getting married at the end of May, so that's actually no. Is that number 5 or number 6? I forget.
That's
But yeah,
6.
lots on the agenda wedding wise. But Planet is just steaming along. We have a huge new feature that I'm very excited about, which is allowing for additional vendor management. We know that you're out there accumulating and corresponding with a zillion different vendors and needing to keep straight, when did I speak with someone, what was it about, what stage in the process are we, so you can keep everything in one place rather than pulling out your spreadsheet or a little journal or using one of the legacy sites that's kind of just like you feel like you're just seeing ads all day long. And so it's a nice calming enjoyable place to collaborate with your people. So I'm very excited about this new little area of the site. So very
I'm also
shortly,
excited.
yeah,
Oh
we will
yeah.
get into that, which is gonna be major.
As
But
a vendor, I'm very excited. I'm very passionate about the vendor tab.
yes, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited. But yeah, things are good around here. My daughter is 19 months now, and she's just fully zipping, running around. Like she's saying a number of words now, and we're trying to kind of like coax more out of her, but we're realizing that we now need to be like aware of what we are saying around her. So
Yeah.
We're gonna have to the cussing needs to scale back a little bit and just be like more aware of what you're saying in front of the baby. So it's a whole
Just
new
one of her first
world.
words is
Yeah, it's a whole new world out here being a parent. But yeah,
I can't believe she's 19 months. She's big.
I know. She's looking more like a little girl than a baby now, like
Yeah,
a little, a little child running around rather than an infant who happens to walk. So,
that's crazy.
yeah. But that's about it on my end. But I know we have some fun questions coming up to
Yeah.
do.
Yes. Okay. So I polled pretty much anyone who follows me on Instagram. I put up a little story talking about how we were going to do our podcast today and any questions people had on Plannerd or Hannah or me or anything. So we're just going to kind of like rapid fire these off and see what's what. Okay, this one is just very, very generic. What's your biggest wedding planning advice? Probably start earlier than you think. If you want to get everything that you have in your mind. So like if you want specific vendors and all of that kind of stuff, start early, way earlier than you think. Like get everything locked in immediately. And yeah, I think if I had to pick one bit of advice, it would be that.
Yeah, that's really good. My piece of advice would be know when to stop looking at the inspo.
That's a good one.
Because
That's a really good
once
one.
your algorithm gets a whiff of your wedding planning coming up, you're just going to be like bombarded with stuff. So I would say,
Yeah.
like, after you make a decision, stop looking at it because you're just going to drive
Yes.
yourself crazy. Like, after you pick out all of your tablescape stuff or your linens and all those things, like, stop looking at it and just move on. Don't continue to look.
Just stop. We're having a hard time with that right now because last week we had a meeting. I will say we have a very unique situation. So there's a new rental company planner put us on to because it's like her friends and this is their first official year of like doing all the rentals and stuff, and because of that they are willing to make anything. But the issue is I have a lot of ideas. So I've been like, can you make me a phone booth for my audiobook? And they're like, yes. Like, can you make me saloon doors with our names? Yes. Like, they're saying yes to everything, which is great. But now I'm like, there's so many more decisions because they were like, okay, yeah, like pick out whatever fabric you want, whatever paint you want. And now I'm like having a hard time piecing all of this together without being there. Like, I'm like, can you send me specs of the bar? Okay. And then, like, I dragged Trevor to a literal, like, massive fabric warehouse. And both of us were so overwhelmed so fast.
Where's the fabric going?
It's going on the back of, so we have, like, there's a 12-foot bar with columns. And then the back wall of the bar will have, like, all of the pretty drinkware and stuff. So there's like 4 huge like arched bar backs, I guess. And the fabric is for the lining of the inside of the bar. But then I'm like, my planner's sending me photos and she's like, okay, so the couch that you picked out, which is this like cool vintage floral couch, is in front of the bar. And so I'm like, wait, pause. Because at first I was like, oh, I want a magenta bar. And then she's like, keep in mind, like this crazy floral couch is in front of the bar. And I was like, oh, wait. So now I have to find a pattern that works. So I'm like, otherwise the photos are going to look crazy. So like, those are the type of like details that we're deep in right now that are just absolutely wrecking me.
That's the kind of thing where my design brain, like, I can look at a scene and know that is cool, that collectively looks amazing. But when I'm looking at a single fork, like, it's hard for me to tell how this fits into the whole thing. Like, it's hard
Yes.
to translate that, when you're looking item by item. It's much easier when it's like
Yes.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hard part is like, because Trevor was like, how do we get all of this to look good? And I was like, I think we literally have to start with like one thing and then work off of it. And that's exactly what we did. So I was like, we know the couch is going to be there. So we're working off of the couch. So then while we're shopping, I'm like, we got to find something that doesn't look insane in the background of the couch. And then I'm like, okay, and then that's going to dictate like the signage because I want that to be different. And then that's going to dictate the wall that's going over here because it can't be the same as the bar. And like it's just a dance. I feel like we're in a dance right now. I don't even know how we got on that topic.
Oh, the question.
The question was like, what is your wedding planning advice? Make decisions early.
And then stop.
And then stop. Don't do what I'm doing. Okay, what other ones do we have here? This is a good one. If you could go back to the beginning of wedding planning, what would you do different? I just started and I'm scared. I think because of the phase that I'm in right now that I just explained with like all of these crazy colors and things, I think I'd be a little more intentional at the beginning with the direction I wanted the decor to go in. I kind of went crazy. It's going to be great. It's going to be very like maximalist. It's just like finding that balance of, I feel like maximalist is really hard to execute and make it look high end because that's the struggle that I'm having right now. I'm like, I don't want it to just look like, grandma's cottage where it's like everything everywhere. I want it to be like really cool at the same time.
I guarantee it will not be grandma's cottage. I'm certain that will not be the case.
Thank you. I'm hoping not. But I think that just like doing a little more research on like fine tuning the theme, because I think I just kind of went crazy out the gate and I was like, I want that and that and that and that. And then we got like 6 months in and I was like, okay, that actually doesn't look good at all. That doesn't go with the vibe. Like, we don't need that. Like, get your bases covered first and then add in a few fun things after, but don't just like, put the cart in front of the horse, essentially.
Totally.
That would be my tip.
Mine, I think, is very on the nose for like what we're building and doing, but I would say if I could go back, I would have had more of a planning system at the beginning where we just like, we dove in because we were excited, as you are after you get engaged, and we booked our venue before we got our wedding planner. So we already had like, and I think that's somewhat typical. Like, you make a huge decision and you're like, oh wait, I need assistance on this. So we made all of these decisions before the planner came in, and then she was sort of like wrangling together what we already had. But then from there, we were sending spreadsheets and working in Google Docs, and I had a little notebook and all the things, and it just basically accumulated over the year and a half that we were planning, and it made it really hard for my mom to help and his parents and my friends, like people who wanted to be involved to whatever degree. It was really hard to loop them in a way that actually felt helpful rather than more annoying. And so I think my husband and I ended up just taking all of it on with our wedding planner. And so it was a very insular wedding planning experience because we just didn't feel like there was an easy way to bring people in and have it be helpful and not annoying. And anytime, like, your parents have all the addresses for all of your extended family, and I needed my mom to help with addresses, and I tried to send her a Google Doc, and it's like, well, how do I find it? What do I do with it? How do I access? Like, it was just more work to get people's help. And I think not only just getting help so that you can be delegating to other people, but it's a special process and you want your main people to be helping you. So I think we took on a lot. And so that's really why we created Plannered, to be more collaborative and just easier for people to use with your little group of people, whether that's a professional planner or your family. So, I mean, that was the whole inspiration for the company, was to build something that could be used to actually like keep wedding planning fun rather than turn it into a crazy thing.
That segues us into, okay, there's a 3-parter here, but it ties into exactly what we're talking about. It says, what is Plannered? How did Hannah create it? And is she an app developer?
Well, thanks, person. So, like I was saying, Plannered is basically, it's an online hub for wedding planning, whether it's with your coordinator, your wedding planner, your partner, your parents, your maid of honor, whoever is in the loop on stuff. And it's a place for everything to live in one place rather than having like you using one site here and you have your spreadsheet here and your journal and all the disconnected pieces. You could just live and breathe together in one place that feels organized. And we made a very conscious decision to have it not be ad based. So there's not pop-ups and ads and sponsored posts and like things that are just in your face all day through your planning process. And I think that's something that's like a pretty big differentiator between the other legacy sites, where I think it's pretty, you feel that you're being marketed to 24/7 and that you're one of those impressions and eyeballs that they're collecting as you're on their site. And there's a place for those sites. I have a lot of respect for them laying the groundwork for what we are now doing, but we're just doing something, slightly different so that we can provide a more calming experience for our couples rather than feeling like you're in the wedding industry machine that you feel a little bit more a part of on other sites. So yeah, the planner was entirely based on my own experience. And then while I was wedding planning, I was also in business school at the time. So my mind was like thinking about problems and solving them through technology. And my background is in startups at a company called Carta, which is a whole saga I could talk about at some point. But yeah, their whole premise is like a source of truth for equity in private companies. So I had seen it working, like the hub example, in a different context. And so I wanted to build, like, if Asana and Carta had a baby in the wedding world, it would be Plannered. So, and no, I'm not an app developer. I worked in operations and business strategy. So it was across, working with all the people, like product, engineering, sales, marketing, all the different departments to be interconnected to grow the product. So I got, a flavor for what it means to build a business. And then I'm like a total generalist person where I know a little bit about a lot of different things.
Lot of different things.
Yeah, that's why we bring in people who know a ton about one thing to supplement me being the everything person.
And we've got a lot of those now. It's getting fun. There's a lot of ideas and everybody's expertise comes through in different ways, which is, I think, super helpful. Okay, the next question.
Thank you so much.
It's so fun. The next one's kind of similar, but it says, and you kind of touched on this, it says, is Planner going to morph into something like the Knot or Zola?
Yeah, that's a good question. At this moment, we're super focused on collaboration and project management being our total bread and butter. So we're not looking to be a vendor catalog in any way where, you're scrolling through the long list of vendors in different categories. We are the people, we're the place that you can come to bring it all together, where your Pinterest board shows you the inspo and then you need to execute on that inspiration. And that's where we are your best friend, the place that you come to execute the vision, because that gap between inspiration and execution that's where the magic happens. That's where the actual event comes to life. And that's where people get overwhelmed and just inundated with stuff you have to keep track of. And that's where it becomes not fun. So if we can keep it
exactly
fun and exciting and really being true to what this whole journey is about, which is your love that you are celebrating, and not to lose sight of that and be really connected to why are we even doing this to begin with, and not go so far into the minutia of everything. That's really the whole point. Like, we're celebrating each other and this moment in our lives. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it exciting and honoring the celebration rather than feeling caught up in all the stress and the overwhelm. So
I also think it's way more exclusive. This is just my own take on it. It's way more exclusive because of like what we just talked about with like, there's not a bunch of ads in your face. Whereas I feel like if you're on the Knot or Zola, whereas Plannered is a safe place because it's a little more exclusive because it's your own workspace. So you're not being, pushed all these in 10,000 different directions. Everything that you come up with or you want for your event in one space.
Yeah,
which is super nice.
It's intended to be an extension of what you are doing rather than you plugging into something else of what other people are doing.
Yes.
Like it's all about you and your event together rather than making it about something else.
Yes. Which I love. Okay. What is your favorite current wedding trend? Okay, I have like a love-hate one because I thought I was really on to something with my own wedding planning. I was like, I'm gonna do wildflowers as my like theme instead of picking out like, you know, 2, 3 colors like you normally see. And now apparently that's like one of the top trending things. And now I'm like, well, now it's overdone. Now I'm kind of sick of it, but I'm still very excited to do it. And I think as a photographer, I love anything to do with color. I'm also just a very artsy person. So, like, I love color. And so that's like one of the most exciting things for like our own wedding is like, I'm like, I know there's going to be like color everywhere and you're not going to be bored. Like, it's going to be really, really fun to look at. So I think that type of trend I'm enjoying. Whereas like a few years ago, I feel like everything was like terracotta and sage. Like it was just that. And then it went to white and green. Everything was just white flowers and greenery, and that was it. And so now I love seeing all the different directions that people are taking color into.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite one right now.
Yeah. My take on the wildflower aspect is that the weddings where that's the direction, I don't think a lot of those have even happened yet. So I don't think people will feel like you're concerned about it being like, it's so in the vein of what's like hot right now. It's like, I think it's hot on Pinterest and I think people are using that as inspo for their upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think people will feel like I just saw this at a million weddings when they go.
This could also be like we always talk about how the algorithm really ruins wedding planning. Yeah. This could also be that because my entire feed is now weddings that look like what I'm putting together, and I'm just like not like sick of it because I know that like in your feed, in other people's feeds, it's probably not like that. Totally. But once you pick a theme, then it's like all of a sudden the algorithms, every platform, you could just get overwhelmed with like ideas for the event that you had in mind. And then I'm like, oh wait, this is already like an overshot idea. Like I shouldn't be doing it. And then you start overthinking your own designs.
Yeah.
So getting off of Pinterest once you've made your decisions, I think is huge.
I think one of my favorite trends right now, I think dress silhouettes have changed a lot in the past few like year plus, and I'm really into it. I feel like we were holding strong with some of these really consistent dress gown silhouettes for a long time, and now they're really getting kind of out of the box and pushing the design envelope, and I think it's super cool. Like the drop hemline, like the drop bodice and the corsets and the bigger, just I think sleek and sexy and slinky was a couple of years ago. Now it's like big with lots of fabric and more dynamic textures and like a lot of embellishments and adornments, and I'm really here for it. And that's coming from someone who my dress was in the other category of like super minimalist, but like minimalist chic, hopefully, where it was like very streamlined. But I love seeing just different visions, different silhouettes, and I think it's very cool. I'm very here for it.
I agree. And I think it could be, well, I'm like looking at my own dress and I'm like, I know in like 5 years time, people are going to be like, she got married in 2026. But I love it. I love drama and all of that stuff. So I feel like that was like an area of the wedding planning process that I had a lot of fun in. It was like trying on these like crazy gowns. I'm like, hey, if you're going to wear it for one day, like make it unbelievable.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot of designers are doing that. Have you been clocked in on the bridal shows happening in New York right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Because those are really entertaining. And people are doing some crazy things.
I love it. I love just like, I mean, it's hard to try to reinvent something that has been such a long-standing, vision.
Yeah.
But I think designers are really thinking outside the box right now, and I'm excited.
Here for it. Maybe next year we go to Bridal Week in New York.
Yes, please. Some brand
fun.
invite us to Fashion Week, and we'll come hang with you.
We will have the time of our lives.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. What trends do you think we will see in 2027? I'm planning a 2027 and I feel totally lost.
It is hard to look so far ahead because I think everyone is always trying to like get to the next thing. And there's always like, we talk about the swinging from one extreme to the next, but then the people who are being inspired by the current trends who have a wedding in 2 years are getting excited and attached to things they're seeing now. So I don't see the wildflower like maximalism vision really going anywhere for the foreseeable future, which I think is very cool because it's fun to see these lively, energetic, very saturated events. And I really love that. Continue to be excited and inspired by what you see, but you know, I'm always an advocate for reflecting on what you like and not being too caught up in like what's hot right now. And like if you're really into white and green and you want to do more of a minimalist vibe, then go do that. So
Yeah.
trends are awesome. I love keeping track of them and just like seeing how they play out. But I would say sample everything and get a vibe for all across the board and then just go with what you truly like yourself.
Yep. I think from a logistics standpoint, we're going to see a lot more smaller, intimate events that are very guest centered and more like dinner parties than these like huge, 200-person events where like you're at a random table with people that you don't know and things like that. That's just like my general take as a vendor of what I'm seeing currently. I had a couple yesterday. This is crazy. I had a couple inquire 2 days ago. They booked their venue on Easter, like literally last weekend. Booked their venue. Their wedding is August. It's August.
Okay.
And they were like, this venue, and it's a popular venue. Like I was like, how did you get that venue in that short of time? She's like, it was the only date they had available. And she's like, so we're just doing everything, on the fly. She's like, I sent out save the dates the night we booked the venue, and then I called you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I happened to accidentally have that date available because I had blocked off August accidentally because our wedding is like 2 weeks before theirs.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know if we were going to do a honeymoon or anything. So I just left August like fully blank. And we're not going to do a honeymoon in August. So we are going to be back in time. And so the timing was like perfect. But we were talking about that on the phone because she was like, she's also a photographer, but she's a like interior design photographer. And she was like, I just feel like wedding wise, like it's going in a different direction. I was like, totally. It's now becoming a much more like they're doing their immediate families and best friends, and that's it. So it's like 60 people max. And she's like, and then we'll do like 2 big receptions, like one where he's from in Arizona, one where she's from, and that's it. And I was like, and they were like, is that weird? Like, is that normal? And I was like, this is what we're seeing now. Like a lot more. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that in 2027. And because of that, it gives you more freedom on kind of like the decor and food and like all of that. You get to have more fun with it. We really ran with that for ours. I was like, I want to make it a very intimate. Granted, ours is like 110 people, but I still consider that pretty intimate.
Yeah.
110 people, but because we went smaller, we were able to do some like crazy things. I was like, I'd rather spoil like 100 people than invite 300 and like not get to talk to everybody.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think
that's my takeaway.
The intimate gatherings and even the separation of the ceremony and the reception, I'm seeing that a lot more. I'm going to one where the ceremony is somewhere else and it's just with immediate family, and then they're doing a reception for everyone together. So I think the trend of breaking the mold of the flow generally, I think is cool. And then you can spend your money the way that you want to because it means that you are being super intentional. But it is funny to be on the guest side where like you have to kind of roll with it because like one of my personal favorite parts of the wedding is the ceremony. Like I want to see you, I've said this before, I want to see you crying at the altar. That is what I want to see. I want to see you struggling to keep it together and pull out like, a wrinkled piece of paper out of your pocket. Like, I like that.
I will
So,
say you played in the back of my head when because I initially canceled my ceremony, like fully. And then I was like, no, like I know that people want to, like they're coming to Montana to see this. So we reworked ours to be, our ceremony's now in the middle of cocktail hour, but people don't know that other than the 10 of you listening to this podcast and Hannah. But we I think we worked it in a correct in a good way. We're like, we're still giving people a ceremony. There will definitely still be tears. I know that because Trevor's a crybaby, so am I. But that was a huge thing because I was like, okay, I'm like very focused on the guest experience and all other elements. And then when we said we were canceling the ceremony, I've never seen like our families, everyone was like, no, like what's the point? And I was like, oh my God, like people are very passionate about this.
what's the point? That's so
What's the
interesting.
point? What's the point? They were like, what do you mean? So like you're not even gonna do a ceremony at all. We're just coming for nothing. And I was like, whoa, like it is not that. I'm like, we're still doing it. It's just like originally we went from massive ceremony, like $20,000 in like chairs and like I had a round stage built. It was a whole thing. And then it felt like too much. The grand entrances and things were not our vibe. And both of us were just like, that was the only part of the day that we were like really struggling with. Like we weren't excited about it at all. And we were like, okay, let's like walk it back. What do we want? And Trevor was like, I want it to be really casual. And I was like, okay, then let's do like sweatpants in the morning with just like immediate families. And then like maid of honor, like all of these other people were like, no, like we want to be there. We want to see you cry. And I was like, okay, fine, fine. Yeah, so this was like the happy medium of that, which was like, I'm still gonna get to enjoy cocktail hour and do all the things, but there is gonna be a ceremony still. It's just not as like, I don't need everybody to sit in the chairs and stand up for the bride and watch the aisle and like all of that. Everyone is still gonna be able to stand around. We're just gonna like do it in the center of cocktail hour.
Yeah, I think
Which I haven't seen anybody do, so hopefully it goes well.
I'm excited to see the flow and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be perfect. I'm very excited.
I'm excited.
The
I'm so
FOMO
excited.
is real. The ceremony FOMO is real, and I don't know why. Like, it is really hard to put your finger on why that is because it in the scheme of the day, it's like 10% of the day, but I think there is this little human need to like see the transformation. Like you walk up, or you go somewhere, and you're changed. You're a whole changed person. I don't know why. I don't know what the human psychology is behind that, but
we should look into that.
yes, this needs to be studied.
I think it's just like it's a sick fascination. People are nosy. That's the thing is people are nosy. I'm nosy. We're nosy. I'm like, I love the drama. I love other people's drama. Anything. I'm like, if you have any tea, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And this is that. I'm like, you know, and I do think there is some truth to like friends, especially like Trevor and I met and got engaged and everything so fast that there's a decent amount of people coming who like don't know me or don't know him. And so I'm like, I also feel like a lot of people want to see the dynamic of like, okay, why did you get engaged in, 6 months?
Does
So
that feel like pressure or exciting? Or maybe both?
Kind of both, I think. Yeah, we've had that talk because I'm like, originally we were like, I really just wanted to be people that have met both of us, like, because that to me is like everybody who's important to us. But then you have a lot of extended family who doesn't live nearby. Like over half, if not more than that, of my extended family has not met Trevor, which is crazy to me. And same with his. And so it kind of became this like, I was like, oh shit, we're kind of backed into this corner of like, we have to put on a show, not a show, but like we kind of need to give people a reason to be like, oh, they're great together, or like we see the dynamic. And so that's also what led to us having to do a ceremony, much to my
chagrin. I think the moment that people see you guys interacting together and see like both of the people who you are on either side who doesn't know the other person, it'll be immediately obvious why like it's immediate to understand the like the beautiful chemistry and love that you guys have. So
I'm hoping. Thank you. And I'm hoping that like at the welcome party we can get a lot of that out of the way, you know, like we can do all the introductions and everything. We purposely did like a longer welcome party in a very cool spot, like at a brewery. So I was like, it's like a lot of mingling and like it's gorgeous. And so I'm like, that'll be a good like intro to like get all the introductions and stuff. That's kind of my goal for the welcome party. I was like, I want like all family members to be introduced and like done with that so that wedding day can just be like party. Big party.
That's perfect. The welcome party is such a great additional touch point so it doesn't feel like the blur of the one day. I think that would be, I mean, it's hard to swing it for everyone because it is a whole other event, and if you're inviting everyone, it's like double the cost again. But if you can swing it, I think it's a nice way to meet people, have another conversation, so it's not just like I talked to them one time in the event at the wedding and then like never again. So yeah.
Especially if you're doing a destination wedding, like that was our big thing, is I was like, I really want guests to get to like experience Montana, but also give people like, you know, a couple days in one spot, not just like, you know, spend 12 hours traveling to get to this location to then only be at an event for like 6 hours and go home. Like, no, I didn't want the travel to be longer than the experience in Montana.
Cool. Well,
So, yeah,
I love those questions.
that's everything we have.
For everyone who had a question about what we're up to, it's fun to interact with the audience at large and just get some little questions going. Well, thank you everyone. If you made it this far, you're obviously part of our Plannered family, and we will see you next time.
See you next week. Woo!